Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Sharik Mustafa. My added number is 19884848, given to Dr. Muhammad Adil Javed course Food Technology 401 Section D Morning. My topic of video is fermentation. Fermentation in food processing is the process of converting carbohydrates to alcohol or organic acid using microorganisms, yeast, or bacteria under anaerobic conditions. Fermentation usually implies that the action of microorganisms is desired. Types of fermentation. There are three distinct types of fermentation that people use. Number one is lactic fermentation, lactic acid fermentation. Second is ethanol fermentation or alcohol fermentation. Third is acetic acid fermentation. Lactic acid fermentation. Yeast strain and bacteria convert starch or sugars into lactic acid requiring no heat in preparation. Ethanol fermentation or alcohol fermentation. Yeast break urate molecules, the output of the metabolism or glucose C6H12O6, known as glycolysis, in starch or sugars down into alcohol and carbon dioxide molecules. Alcohol fermentation produces wine and beer. Acetic acid fermentation. Starch and sugar from grains and fruit ferment into sour tasting vinegar and condiments. Examples include apple cider vinegar, wine vinegar, and kombucha. The different stages of the fermentation process. Depending upon what you are fermenting, the process can have several stages. First, primary fermentation. In this brief phase, microbes begin rapidly working on raw ingredients such as fruit, vegetables, or dairy. The microbes present or in the surrounding liquids such as brine for fermented vegetables prevent putrefying purifying bacteria from colonizing the food. Instead, yeast or other microbes convert carbohydrates or sugars into other substances such as alcohols and acids. Secondary fermentation. In this longer stage of fermentation, which lasts several days or even weeks, alcohol levels rise and yeast and microbes die off and their available food source, carbohydrates, become scarcer. Wine makers and brewers use secondary fermentation to create their alcoholic beverages. The pH of the ferment can differ. Winemakers and brewers use secondary fermentation to create their alcoholic beverages. The pH of the ferment can differ significantly from when it started out, which affects the chemical reactions taking place between the microbes and their environment. Once alcohol is between 12 to 15% and it kills the yeast, preventing further fermentation. Distillation is needed to remove water considering alcohol content to create a higher percentage of alcohol. How does fermentation work? Microorganisms survive using carbohydrate, sugars such as glucose for energy and fuel. Organic chemicals like adenosine triphosphate deliver that energy to every part of a cell when needed. Microbes generate ATP using respiration. Aerobic respiration, which requires oxygen, is the most efficient way to do that. Aerobic respiration begins with glycolysis, where glucose is converted into pyruvic acid. When there are enough oxygen present, aerobic respiration occurs. Fermentation is similar to anaerobic respiration. the kind that take place when there is not enough oxygen present. However, fermentation leads to the production of different organic molecules like lactic acid, which also leads to ATP, unlike respiration, which uses pyruvic acid. Depending upon environmental conditions, individual cells and microbes have the ability to switch between the two different modes of energy. Organisms commonly obtain energy anaerobically through fermentation, but some systems use sulfate as the final electron receptor in the electron transport chain. Thank you so much.